The lantern of new beginnings. Nestled deep within the snow-capped mountains, the village of Yuzuki lay blanketed in winter's quiet embrace. The rooftops were covered in thick layers of snow, and the frozen streams glistened under the soft light of the moon. It was a small village, with cobblestone streets and wooden houses that had stood for generations. But what made Yuzuki truly special was its centuries-old tradition to welcome the new year, a celebration known as the Lantern of New Beginnings. This tradition was more than just a festival. It was a time when the entire village came together to release their dreams, hopes, and even sorrows into the night sky, trusting that the stars above would guide them toward a brighter future. The legend of the lanterns told of their magical ability to carry wishes to the heavens, where the stars would weave them into the tapestry of destiny. For 8-year-old Hannah, this year's festival felt particularly important. The warm laughter and gentle harmony that once filled her home had been replaced by the distant tones of her parents' voices, often hushed but occasionally sharp. Hannah was too young to fully understand why her parents argued, but old enough to feel the growing tension. The house felt colder, not from the winter air, but from the silence that lingered in the walls. One frosty evening, as Hannah sat by the window tracing patterns in the frosted glass, her grandmother, Oba-chan, entered the room carrying a bundle of vibrant paper and a small pot of ink. "Hannah," Oba-chan said with a smile, "it's time to make your lantern." Hannah's eyes lit up. "Can I write anything I want?" "Anything," her grandmother replied. "But remember, the most powerful wishes are the ones that come from the heart." Together, they sat by the low table in the warm glow of the hearth. Hannah chose a piece of paper in a soft pink hue, her favorite color, and began carefully folding it into the shape of a lantern. Oba-chan showed her how to draw delicate patterns, cherry blossoms and waves, onto the surface. When the lantern was ready, Hannah hesitated before writing her wish. "Oba-chan," she asked softly, "do you think the lanterns really work?" Her grandmother paused, then reached out to gently stroke Hannah's hair. "The lanterns carry our wishes to the stars, but it's up to us to nurture those wishes. The stars guide, but we must walk the path." Hannah nodded, though she didn't fully understand. With a deep breath, she dipped the brush into the ink and wrote carefully, "Please bring peace to my family." As the sun set on December 31st, the village came alive with activity. Lanterns in every imaginable color and design adorned the streets. Families gathered, their faces rosy from the cold, their spirits high despite the biting wind. The smell of roasted chestnuts and sweet rice cakes filled the air, and children ran through the snow, their laughter echoing in the night. The centerpiece of the festival was the ancient oak tree at the village square, its massive branches wrapped in strands of glowing lights. The tree, believed to be over 1,000 years old, stood as a silent witness to countless generations of villagers and their dreams. Hannah and her family arrived just as Elder Kaoru, the village storyteller, took her place beneath the oak. Dressed in layers of heavy robes, she held a lantern of her own, its surface painted with golden swirls. "Gather close," she called out, her voice steady and warm. "For tonight we celebrate the turning of time. Tonight we honor the past and welcome the future." The villagers crowded around, lanterns clutched in gloved hands, their breath visible in the icy air. Elder Kaoru began her story, one that everyone knew by heart but loved to hear each year. Long ago, when the village of Yuzuki was still young, the winters were harsh and the nights were long. The villagers, weary from their struggles, looked to the stars for guidance. They crafted lanterns and released them into the sky, believing the light would carry their hopes to the heavens. And the stars, moved by their sincerity, sent back their blessings in the form of gentle winds and bright mornings. From that day forward, the lantern of new beginnings became a promise between the people and the stars. Hannah listened intently, clutching her lantern close. As the story ended, Elder Keru raised her hand. "Now," she said, "let us send our dreams to the sky." One by one, the villagers released their lanterns. The square filled with gasps and cheers as hundreds of glowing lights rose into the air, their soft hues blending with the starry sky. Hannah released her lantern with both hands, watching as it drifted upward, joining the sea of light. For a moment the village fell silent, everyone gazing upward in awe. Then a soft breeze swept through the square, carrying with it a warmth that felt almost magical. The lantern seemed to shimmer and dance, forming fleeting patterns in the sky. Flowers, animals, waves. Hannah thought she saw the outline of a house, cozy and glowing with light. The next morning, New Year's Day, Hannah woke to the smell of miso soup and freshly grilled fish. She padded into the kitchen to find her parents sitting together, their faces softer, their voices kinder. They smiled at her, and her father pulled her into a hug. "Happy New Year, Hannah," he said. "Happy New Year," she replied, her heart lighter than it had been in months. From that day on, the Lantern of New Beginnings became more than just a tradition for Hannah. It was a reminder that even the smallest hopes, carried by light and love, could spark a new beginning. And in the quiet moments of the year, when the snow fell softly and the stars shone brightly, Hannah would look to the sky and whisper her thanks, believing that the stars were always listening.